Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to the daily update of the 1000 day challenge. This is day 740, or is it 740? Alright, so let's get started. Alright, in terms of balance, why it remains the same, but actually close in terms of my long setup for both Bitcoin and Ethereum itself. So there will be a balance in terms of update wise. I would say it's a small little profit. I think I closed in the near break even or slight loss for Bitcoin itself, but a small little profit for Ethereum as it did hit the 1:1.1 risk to lot setup. So that's the latest update. Other than that, if you look in terms of a price action wise on the daily chart per se, so on the S&P 500 and Nasdaq, where we actually did retrace with a red candlestick itself. But like I mentioned, as long as you maintain between these region itself, to me, it's a very clear consolidation sign. Although right now we are breaking towards the upside, you can still see that there is some signs of rejection at the 200 exponential moving average. It's not to say that we cannot go parabolic from here to even retest this 4.3K, but I would say that going parabolic right now may not be the best situation simply because if it does go parabolic here, then likelihood that we'll face a stronger pullback. But if we go more like a systematic kind of approach, then the tendency for stronger pullback would be much less likely in that particular per se. All right, but in a way, that's fine. And then if you move along, say Nasdaq wise in the same thing, like what I mentioned, we are forming somewhat like a pullback. But in terms of a consolidation pattern or more like a retracement pattern wise, Nasdaq is more like a kind of pullback pattern. So you go up and potentially down. So at the 20 exponential moving average was what I'm thinking they will hit because there's also coincide with the support region over here as well. But it seems actually going towards the upside. So let's see how things go. But definitely we do see one thing for certain is that both the 200 exponential moving average and the 150 simple moving average itself is acting as a key or dynamic resistance right now for the Nasdaq as well. So very interesting to see consolidate right below it. Let's see how the price react to it. As long as we keep retesting those levels itself, the likelihood of us breaking it increases over a period of time. And then finally, if you look in terms of the China market itself, definitely I still think there was bearish momentum because right now we are still below the 20 exponential moving average. The very first thing that you want price to actually have a potential to actually go towards upside, as you can see over here and over here, is that the price must definitely be above the 20 exponential moving average. It falling below itself is generally not a good sign, especially when it's sloping downward as well. All right, and thereafter we have the KWAP itself. So KWAP wise, similarly, same thing, like what I mentioned. As long as price remains below it, I still lean towards the bearish momentum side of things. You could potentially test this $24 region itself, even though it's a very strong support. But bear in mind, we already retested 3 times. So generally, I do not like to be tested on the fourth or fifth time itself because it's much more likely to break. Not to say that it cannot hold it as support itself, but the potential, the probability of it breaking is a lot higher. And then for Bitcoin itself, it's acting a little bit unexpected because it's a very great bearish candlestick. But like the traditional financial market itself actually did spike up. But unlike there wasn't a gap up in the sense, it's simply because of the fact that Bitcoin trades 24/7. So there isn't much of an opportunity to gap up in that sense. All right, so you can see at these past 4 hours, the volume has been great. But definitely we are still not breaking this high, which is at 24.15K region itself. And then over here itself, the mini closed below it. I closed near the break-even point over here. So this trade is already closed. I'll update the trade thereafter this. But the point of the fact that we still see the support coming at the 200 exponential moving average on the 4-hourly chart itself, which is simply a very good sign. But of course, like what I say, if I put it here, I'll still be safe. But bear in mind that it was a very conservative trade, because understanding the fact that we are still much more in the range bound kind of situation, even though we are bullish on the 4-hour chart per se. Bear in mind on the daily chart, we are still leaning towards more of a bearish territory itself, although there is very clear signs of potential reversal. But until that takes place itself, I still have to be a little bit more cautious and would not be aggressively entering the long setup excessively, which I did previously, which was what resulted in the additional loss, which was not intended as well. So right now, I'm keeping to a maximum of 2% trade when it comes to trading even for my main trading account setup, simply because that's the rule base that I actually did set. All right, otherwise, that's more or less about it. I don't have any other major update. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop by your comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.